It's strength in finding resilience beyond your circumstances. What is up, you guys? I'm Zakia Monet, and welcome to the Finding Your Way podcast, where we share stories about hardships and share ways to not let our circumstances define us. Like you, we just here to find our way. What's up, you guys? My name is Zakia. I go by Zakia Monet on all social media platforms, and welcome to another episode of Finding Her Way podcast. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, like we're doing every other one, we have a journal entry prompt. And this journal entry prompt would be describe an event that triggered you from a trauma from your past. You can write that down in the comments, you can write it in a journal, or you can even DM me and we can talk about it and chit chat about it in the DM. Let's get into this. First of all, how are you guys doing? Mental health check-in. Are we doing okay? Let me know in the comments. How are you guys doing? How's your week been so far? What's going on? You know, all of those good things. We're gonna start there. This week has been a week of reflection. Well, last week and this week has been a week of reflection, because every week I get off a session with my therapist, it's always a reflection period for me. And it's always something that comes up or shows up in what we just talked about in my therapy session. So this past therapy session, we talked about my first time ever being triggered, and that was just recently. Although the events happened like a couple of years ago, this is my first time like actually being triggered by something that happened. And I'm gonna kind of get a little bit into that. I've been like the farthest I've been triggered by something is like I don't like people playing in my face, and I don't like even when it comes out to my son when he's playing, like I tense up or I get in defense mode, and like I just like it's just crazy. Like if anybody, I get on defense. So like that is probably the closest thing to a trigger that I've experienced. But this week that just passed, it was very hard for me. I'm just gonna kind of fast forward the story because it's not gonna be long drawn out. But I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom, and my mama, she likes to play sometimes. She likes to play, and so I was using the bathroom, and I just heard a loud like boom, 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 like a loud boom on the door, and so I was just like automatically my body tensed up. That was the first response. My body just tensed up, and like I was just stuck for a minute, and I was like, "What?" Like I was just like, "What is that?" And it was just so crazy. It was just so bad. And so after that, like I just started crying so bad. Like I was just boo-hoo crying so bad because it just took me back to that place. And I was like, "Girl, why is you crying? Like what is going on?" Like I was trying to figure it out before reaching out to somebody and talking to somebody about it. I was trying to figure it out for myself. So in therapy, I'm just learning how to use the tools that she gives me and try to figure out, like what everything means on my own and navigate those things before reaching out to her about every little thing. It might not be little to her, but it just like it'll feel like little to me or small to me. So I was just like sitting there like, what is going on? Like, why am I crying like this? Like, what are these feelings coming up? And instantly, like, well, it wasn't instantly because it took me a minute to realize like what those feelings were, and it just took me back to that place of being in a hotel, hearing banging on the door, somebody busting in and getting me out of the bathroom, making me come out the bathroom with no clothes on, and us getting into it in the bath, like in the room, dragging me across the room and all this other stuff. So it just took me back to that place, and so I realized that, and when I realized that, I just started crying even more. So I guess I'm just trying to, now that some things are starting to come up for me, and now that certain things are starting to come up for me, now that I'm, peeling back the layers and unraveling and diving deeper into my trauma and the things that I've been through, and actually starting to talk about things more, things are starting to show up for me in different ways, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. Because I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the only thing I'm going to experience, and I think that's the scary part for me. That is the scary part for me, the feeling of the unknown, like the feeling of not knowing when it's going to show up, and the embarrassment I want to feel if I'm in public or something happens like that. Like, it's just like those kind of feelings. And so I'm trying to navigate my triggers and how will they show up for me, although I don't know. You will never know how your triggers will show up for you, because they will show up for you in different ways. Like I said, when me and my son are just like playing, I even tense up with that because I don't like anybody playing in my face. at all. Like, nobody. I don't like nobody playing in my face. I don't like the hand gestures. Anybody, like, I just don't do that. Like, I just don't do that. So even that is still a struggle for me, and it's been a challenge, like, trying to navigate that. So I was talking to my therapist about it, and we were just having like a long discussion, because I think I'm just starting, even like now that we've been together for a year, I'm just now starting to open up to her about different things that I've been through and different things that has happened to me. Like, for this past year, we've only been talking about my relationships and me communicating with people and how I communicate with people and how do I create boundaries with people and all of that stuff. Like, that's been my main focus, is boundaries and communication. That's been it. And so now that as our relationship grows and as I'm in therapy more, we're starting to talk about, you know, the deep stuff. And so it's showing up to me kind of crazy, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, I think I'm just not ready for the emotional roller coaster that I'm about to be on. The more I dive into these things in therapy, I don't think I'm ready for that. I think that's why I put it so deep down. I think that's why I put everything so deep down. Like, when everything happens, I just sweep it under the rug, or I just keep it moving, because for a while I was silent. I feel like for a long time I haven't been talking about anything, especially with her or with anybody, because I was like, basically, I feel like unbeknownst to me, I was silenced. And I brought it up to my therapist probably a couple sessions ago. Well, it was probably like a while ago, where I was at an event. It was a domestic dispute. It was a thing, and my eye was just so crazy. My eye just looked so crazy, and I was just told to, you know, not say anything because it'll start trouble. And I was basically, you know, told to be quiet, you know, not say anything. So for years I carried that with me, and I was just quiet, and I never said anything. So I feel like that's a big reason of why I haven't said anything or dug these feelings up or dug these, like, or talked about these things. And I could have went, like, if I hadn't started therapy, I probably would have took this to a grave. Like, I probably wouldn't have talked about anything. But it's an amazing thing that I have started therapy, because this is just helping me do what I need to do for the people that I'm trying to reach, the women who have experienced domestic violence and, you know, things of that nature. Because how can I, you know, start a movement, or how can I be as involved or want to do these great things without, you know, having some type of transparency within this organization or within this nonprofit. So I don't think it would be fair to the women that I'm trying to reach. I don't think it would be a real connection. It may be a connection, but I don't think it'll be a real connection, because they don't know how to connect with you. Like, how can you understand what I'm going through or what I've been through if you haven't experienced it? So I feel like by me having this experience, although it's unfortunate, it's also a upside of having this nonprofit to be able to connect to these women, if that makes sense. So I was talking to her about these things, and she, you know, that's basically what she was telling me. So, you know, like, I need to start speaking on this more. I need to start opening my mouth. I need to start talking about these things. And, you know, I'm just not being quiet no more. And so with me not being quiet, here comes these triggers coming in, and here comes these events and these tests and these trials and these things showing up in different ways that I'm not ready for. And so I'm just not ready for the emotional roller coaster that is going to take me on again. And I'm just not ready for I just don't want to be drained. I don't want to be drained, and I don't want it to drain me. But I know I got to go through these emotions. I know I got to go through it to understand everything, and to not understand the domestic violence part, but I guess to understand my healing process. So, I don't know. I'm just, you know, going through the loop and going through the motions. I'm trying to, you know, I'm just trying to keep an open mind. I'm trying to open my mouth more. I'm trying to speak on things more. I'm just trying to do what I need to do to heal myself in order to start pouring into other people. Because you can't heal from a broken place. Or you can't heal work with other people from a broken place. because you're not gonna. I don't feel like the energy is gonna give healed. It's not gonna give. I'm receptive to this. It's not gonna give like I understand where she's coming from, or it's not gonna give like I can connect with her because you still healing from a broken place. So if both of y'all are broken, how can you help this other person? How can you help her if you're broken as well? So this is just a part of my journey. That's all. It's a part of my journey. It's all just a part. Now y'all tired of hearing this word. It's all just a part of the healing journey for me, and it's all of it's it's part of the process. I guess it's part of the process. It's the ugly part of the process. It's the not fun part of the process, but it's a part of the process that you have to get through in order to see the other side. And so I'm just in that stage of building this, like going through this process so I can restart from something new, and speak from a wholesome place and speak from a place of knowing what you've been through and taking to a place of elevating from that place. So I don't know, I think in this video I kind of just want to talk about like navigating your triggers and not quite understanding them, because I don't think we will understand them at this point, but I think it will just be the navigation part, and how they show up for you. So what I think you should do is, because I'm going to do this as well, because that was my first experience, that was my first trigger, and I'm shook. Like, I'm shook. So what I would do is take a journal, take a notepad, anything, write in your notes, do what you want to do, it's up to you, and start writing. Write about your traumatic experience, write about everything, write all of that, your traumatic experience, how you felt in those moments, what it did to you, what it did to your mental state, because I feel like in order for you to, navigate your triggers, you have to understand where it's coming from and what things took place. It can be, you can do one chunk here, one chunk here, one chunk here, if it's more than one traumatic experience, or you can just do it all in one setting, or you can do it in a timeline, however you see fit, do it like that, because you have to, I feel like I said, I feel like in order for you to navigate your trigger, you have to understand where it's coming from, if that makes sense. You have to understand what this trigger means, like why is it showing up in this way, because it won't always be the same. Like that, like what happened the other day, it won't always show up for me like that, because it's different things that has taken place with me. So it won't always show up the same. So I feel like the first step, or the first thing you should do, is just journal everything down. Write everything down. Write the whole experience down. Whatever you experience, write all of that stuff down. So after you do that, then I think if you're not in therapy, this would be the thing that I would tell you to do. But if you are in therapy, I would talk to your therapist about it and journal. So those are two good things, and always pray about it. No matter what it is, always pray about it. Come to God with it. Like that probably should be your first thing before you seek your therapist. Honestly, that should be the first thing. So we're gonna rewind. Talk to God if that's who you believe in. Therapy, journal. But if you're not into religion, if you're not into therapy, that's not a part of anything that you want to do, journal. Journal. You have to get these emotions out. You have to get these feelings out. You have to understand what is taking place within you. So do that first. Go through all of that. Write all of that down. Reread what you've written down. Read over what you've written down. And this is gonna help you try to navigate your triggers, and not necessarily understand them, but navigate. Navigation means the process of finding your way through the challenges of life. I'm gonna say it again. The process of finding your way through the challenges of life. Ain't that funny? Finding your way. The process of finding your way through the challenges of life. Right? I would say do this every day. Journal every day. Write something down every day. You know what? I wouldn't even write down all the experiences in one day. I would take one experience at a time. So slow down. because you don't want to put too much on yourself and you don't want to overload yourself. So I will put one experience at a time, and you can start from beginning and then to end. So every day you journal one experience that's happened in your life, you know? So this will kind of prepare you, not necessarily, it won't fully prepare you, but I feel like it will give you, you know, like some understanding, you know, or try, you know, some kind of understanding of why you're so triggered by certain things. That would be my tip to you guys. I'm going to do that as well as talking to God, as well as going to therapy, because I feel like therapy is honestly the biggest tool for me. Therapy and God is honestly the biggest tool for me. I haven't been much of a writer these days. I don't know, I just haven't been into it, and I'm not really big on, you know, well, I haven't really always been big on expressing my feelings. I've always been sweeping under the rug. Like, I've never been that person. So, but it does show up for me in weird ways. Like, it does show up for me in my communication style, I think. And, you know, like, that area, but I just don't I haven't communicated my feelings, because I do want to start doing that. And I have been doing a good job of doing that, communicating my feelings and, you know, understand these things. You know, also, I would say if someone who has triggered you or have done harm to you is someone that you have to, you know, talk to every day, like your child's father or a parent, well, you don't necessarily have to talk to them, honestly. But if this is someone you have to interact with in some kind of way, I think this would be very helpful. I definitely think talking to God will be very helpful. I definitely think talking to your therapist will be very helpful, because they will give you the tools and the resources to, you know, like, navigate those interactions and not understand, but navigate those interactions. That would be like a big thing. So, because I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But that probably goes into advice on finding her way, honestly. I think that does. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't all over the place, because y'all know I be all over the place. I hope you like it. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you like this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I know it's a lot. But if you don't like, comment, at least share it. Share with a friend. You know, it might reach somebody. You never know who might need this message. You never know somebody who might need to hear these things. So, you know, share with a friend. Thank you guys so much again. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed and took at least one thing, if any, from this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share us with a friend you know. Follow us on Instagram at Finding Her Way Pod, and send us letters or questions to askfhw@gmail.com. We hope to hear from you in the next episode.